After a couple of days of New England Patriots rookie minicamp is officially wrapped up in the books as they prepare for the next couple of weeks, OTAs, mandatory minicamp, and then just like that, we're going to be in training camp and preseason and regular season, right? Now, in this video, I kind of want to break down what we saw out of Jerod Mayo, but not only Jerod Mayo, Joe Milton, Javon Baker, Polk, right? A lot of new rookies here in New England, especially on the offensive side of the football. So we're going to break all that down. We're going to look at some highlights, some news, some notes, some analysis. We're going to break it all down. Now, before we jump into the video, comment down below, who do you think will have the biggest day one impact out of this rookie class? And also, who do you think has the most potential going forward? Now, with that being said, you know what? Let's just dive in. I'm done just yapping. Let's talk about it. Right away, now the first guy I want to bring up, obviously Jerod Mayo, but Joe Milton. Joe Milton, the dude has an arm, a cannon. This dude just freaking yanks it, effortless, 60 yards down the field. And you know what was kind of fun? Not seeing Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones. You know what? No offense, but dude, the aura, the atmosphere, the everything was just different. Felt better, felt more unique, felt more competitive. I loved it, right? Day one, I loved it. That was the first day of, actually open media. Got to see some clips, some highlights, and all that. So it was definitely a major upgrade. And I know a lot of you guys don't probably care about Joe Milton. I do. I think the man has a ton of potential as a slinger and a gunslinger. But let's get to the point. Jerod Mayo looked good, right? Didn't look crazy, and I think we have to take everything with a grain of salt. The reason being is there's no pads, there's no contact, there's no 11 on 11, so it's really tough to decipher whether or not a quarterback does good. But you know what? The first thing we noticed, took command of the offense, leadership. Again, need that. You know, usually as a rookie quarterback, it takes some time for them to really develop those leadership instincts, but he's another one of those guys that just kind of had it, right? There was also no bad throws, like, in terms of when we had Mac Jones or when we had Bailey Zappi in rookie minicamp. There were sometimes like, okay, what was that throw? You kind of saw the writing on the wall, even from rookie minicamp. Even though it doesn't mean the most, you can see the writing on the wall sometimes. It's like, okay, what was that throw? How do you miss that throw with no defenders, right? We didn't see any of that from Jerod Mayo. So I thought that was a big, big thumbs up for Jerod Mayo, right? No bad throws. Placement was there. There was no issues in terms of that. Some were a little bit too high, but still wide receivers are big now. Polk, I believe 6'2", Javon Baker 6'2". These guys are massive, right? So throwing it up there, allowing them to go up there and get it, I love that, right? But again, showed command, showed presence in the huddle and at the line. And you know what? He's wearing number 10, so hopefully he can play a little bit better than the last number 10. And again, I hate to just poke fun at Mac Jones because I feel like, he just had a bad gig here in New England. I don't think Belichick did the greatest of jobs helping him develop, but it's okay. At the end of the day, there's still a lot to learn about Jerod Mayo. We got to see how he develops, how he handles 11 on 11s and actual defense coming at him. So take everything with a grain of salt, right? Jerod Mayo is a project. He is someone who I don't think will be a day one starter. I think you can give that to Jacoby Brissett at least for training camp. If you know what, they compete and Jerod Mayo ends up winning the job, then hey, Jerod Mayo wins the job. But I think day one you come in, Jacoby Brissett is the starter. Outside of Jerod Mayo, a lot of guys stood out as well. Actually, before we get into that, I do want to show you a quick clip of Jerod Mayo talking about Jerod Mayo. So we're going to listen to that in a second. Before we do that, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. I'm going to be covering the Patriots throughout the entirety of OTAs, rookie minicamp, mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, everything. Okay, got you guys covered. Join the family, turn on post notifications. Now let's hear a little bit of what Jerod Mayo had to say about Jerod Mayo.
Across the league, most offensive coordinators, they interact with the quarterback, the starting quarterback for the most part. We do have a group of coaches that have quarterback backgrounds, but I would say overall it'd be AVP as far as that league guy.
With Drake, but I mean,
with Drake, with Jacoby, and
you don't know the starter is.
That's right, we don't know who the starter is. So AVP will be in all of those. Go ahead, another follow.
No. Just making sure.
Early impressions of Drake. Look, I mean, he has a lot to work on. There's a lot to work on, but I have no doubt that he'll put the time in. So, I know you guys saw him out, or you didn't see him out here yesterday, but, he was here all night trying to get, on the same page as everyone else.
Now, let's talk a little bit about some other guys here. Jalen Polk and Javon Baker were clear-cut number 1, number 2 receivers in all the reps. Obviously, Polk being a second rounder, Javon Baker going a little bit afterwards. Both those guys looked good. Now, Javon Baker has the utmost confidence in himself, believes he's a top 5 wide receiver in this draft class. Now, reality hit him pretty quickly, did drop a couple of balls here, but handled himself really well, right? Got up, said, hey, I want to get back up there. I want to be the next one up, right? So he goes, he drops the ball, and then he's like, I'm doing it again. Let me run that again. So obviously, he knows what it takes. He knows what he has to do, and he knows he's got to improve, right? Obviously, he's a dog. He's a really good player, but he has to be a little bit better, and I think he handled himself really good. Wasn't, a diva, didn't have too big of an ego, knew that he needed to improve on that rep, and did. So, love to see that. I think that is a very good start. Do have a lot of personality, but that's all right. Hey, Jerod Mayo also said, I want these guys to have personality. I want them to feel free to talk about certain things, but at the end of the day, you have to show it on the football field. That's what they're trying to get with Javon Baker, and I think he's got that potential. So a little bit out of third rounder Caden Wallace and fourth rounder Layden Robinson. Layden Robinson was at left tackle and left guard. Or actually, both of them played left tackle and left guard. Caden Wallace, left tackle. Layden Robinson, left guard throughout the workout. So, obviously, both those guys are, trying to work in, trying to make a big, big jump, a big fit here for the New England Patriots offensive line next season because they were abysmal last year. So that was good to see. They'll continue to work up as we get into OTAs and minicamp. And once the veterans come in, that's when we'll really start to see who's stepping out, who the starters could be as well. There was also a really, really big-time catch by Jaheim Bell, the 7th-round tight end. Won't be a day one starter, but definitely another project for the Patriots here. A guy that they just want to keep developing going forward. But outside of that, man, didn't see too much out of the defense. Obviously, with no pads and no contact, it's very difficult to observe some of these guys and actually get something out of it, right? You can see these wide receivers make big catches. You can see the old lineman's footwork, right? But for defense, you really got to see how they play in coverage for guys like Marcellus Dio and Del Pettis and Caleb Ford Demont. You got to see them in coverage. So I don't really know too much about those guys. But overall, I think Joe Milton had a cannon of an arm. Drake Maye looked good. Didn't have any crazy bad throws, but still has a lot of work to do. I don't think he's a day one starter, and you can tell the energy is just so much better than it has, ever been over the past couple of years here with, Mac Jones and what's-his-face, Bailey Zappi, who's still here. Then Caden Wallace at left tackle, I think he did a good job. Layden Robinson at right guard, I think, or just guard in general, I think those guys have a lot of work to do, but could be day one starters, maybe, depending on how much they develop over the next couple of weeks. And then, obviously, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, man. Those guys look like they could be alphas over here for a long time. Big body, 6'2", good speed, good catch radius, great confidence in themselves, but also the mentality of just work. Make sure that we are, putting out the best the best film out there to be able to jump up this roster and make big-time plays. So I love what they're doing so far. I think they still have a lot of work that needs to be done, but overall, I think the Patriots are headed in the right direction. And again, we'll learn more as we get into OTAs, which is in a couple of days. So make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, and I'll see you guys during OTAs. Peace.